Welcome once again to Pandora's Box, Redneck Edition.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah!
Take two. Welcome once again to Pandora's Box. This is the finest box in all the land. Thank you very much for joining us today. I am your host this evening, Cletus Jackson. To the right of me, we have Deputy Raymond Jr.
Yo, what's up?
To the left of me,
Hit the what?
we have Stretch McCoy.
Left and right, Stretch McCoy. That's me.
My second cousin Delilah's youngest boy.
All right.
Oh,
So,
hey there, Delilah.
Hey there, Delilah.
What's my name again, man? Cletus?
Deputy Raymond Jr.
Deputy Raymond Jr.
Deputy.
I forget sometimes, you see.
Recently become a deputy down at the sheriff's department down south, and we just want to give you that respect, to give you your official title, deputy. Deputy Raymond Jr. is on the case.
Thank you.
Don't any of y'all be breaking any laws.
No.
But thank you very much, humbly and sincerely, for joining us in our abode. That is on Pandora's Box on Aspen Waite Radio.
Oh my.
This evening, you might also be watching us on YouTube or Spotify. But whichever way you're taking us in, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of y'all. And just a quick reminder, everyone, I know I say it pretty much every week, but probably the best way to tune in is on YouTube, because then you get a take
On the tubes?
On the mobile.
You got to take it in our visages. Our visages.
Man.
Right.
See us, it makes it a little bit more,
Really sexy peck bounce.
a little bit more
You see that?
Yeah.
interactive, y'all. A little bit more interactive.
right.
I mean, you can't
It
see a
is.
peck bounce on the airwaves,
No,
can you?
yeah,
You
no,
know,
not one
you
like
need
this.
you
Oh
need
my
you need to
God.
see it on the tubes. So take us in there, and then it's more interactive. It's more what's the word I'm looking for? It's more
Fun.
It's more fun.
It's more fun.
More fun, goddammit.
But if you're tuning in for the first time, this is like a topical, factual podcast. We talk about a plethora of interesting subjects. Sometimes it could be astronomy. Sometimes it could be history. Sometimes it could be science. Sometimes it could be the outright weird and bizarre. Sometimes it could be aliens. But we talk about
They're
all
my
sorts.
favorite episodes.
If it's interesting, we talk about it.
That's right.
Nice.
That's
Damn
right.
straight. Damn tootin'. Darn tootin'.
Darn too.
I got some unfinished business from last week. See, we were talking about the most crazy things that have ever taken to the skies, man-made or otherwise, last week. Flying things.
Flying things.
We talked about the largest ever airship, man-made.
Oh my word.
And we talked about the largest ever flying insect, that giant dragonfly thing.
In the sky.
We talked about Quetzalcoatlus, the largest ever flying living creature. But we didn't get quite a chance to talk about the largest ever flying bird. So the largest flying bird today is the Albatross. I believe the Albatross wingspan gets to about 9 foot. That I haven't looked that up. That's just from memory. So if I'm wrong in that, please be gentle with my IQ. But I
Looks
think,
like a giant
seagull. Sorta, yeah.
Like a seagull.
But can you check that for me, please?
Bullwinkle.
Stretch McCoy.
Stretch McCoy, yeah.
Stretch
Oh, yeah,
McCoy.
There he is.
Stretch McCoy. Yeah, I think the wingspan of an albatross is 9 foot. But the bird that we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be learning about, is the Giant Teratorn.
3.3 meters.
So that's
for
about
an albatross.
That's about 9 foot.
Well,
9
it says
foot.
between 2.9 meters to 3.3 meters.
So can you type in
I'm searching it up
In
right now.
feetage. I reckon that's about 9
Have
foot.
a guess. What do you think?
9 foot.
What do you think?
I think about 8 feet.
9.8 feet.
9.8. A mixture of
9.8.
both.
You put our answers together, you're right
yeah.
on the money.
All
Dang,
right.
that's what you get.
Sometimes you take a little bit of Cletus Jackson, take a little bit of Deputy Raymond Jr., you put it together, get the right answer.
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
But enough of the
Help
albatross.
each other
I mean,
out.
the albatross is a magnificent bird, but it's not.
Ain't nothing on this.
Ain't
big
nothing
boy.
on the
No
Giant
way.
Teratorn. So if you are watching on the YouTubes,
Oh my
Stretch McCoy.
God, look at that.
Stretch McCoy's getting up a picture of the Giant
Look
Teratorn.
at that. It looks like a massive, massive crow.
So
In that
it's
picture on the right there.
yeah, the
Very
Giant
white suit.
Teratorn. It lived in the late Miocene epoch. So that was between 9 million years ago and 6.8 million years ago, the late Miocene. So it would have been alive at the same time. About a month ago, we talked about the Day of Dawn, otherwise known, the nickname given it to it like the Terminator pig or the Hell Pig.
Oh, Hell Pig.
That giant, terrifying carnivore that we talked about. That was from the Miocene epoch also. So this would have been flying in the skies at the same time as that Hell Pig.
God damn, that's a big bird.
It was the largest bird ever in the skies.
Looks a bit like a vulture.
Yeah, I mean,
And a crow from behind.
I know what you mean. They think that
spiked head.
they think that they were scavengers primarily, so they didn't actively hunt most of the time. They would have usually used their size and stuff to scare away other smaller predators away from carrion from animals that had already died. But they ate flesh, and they would have eaten carrion. So I mean, in a way, that's a little bit comforting, because I wouldn't like the thought that if I was alive back then, it could swoop on out of the skies and just pick me up and gobble me up.
Damn, you could gobble you right up, man.
I mean, I won't want to be gobbled up by a giant Teratorn. I can tell you that right now.
You'd get Teratorn apart.
But they think the wingspan of a giant Teratorn could get up to 23 feet.
23 feet.
23 feet, y'all.
23 gosh darn feet.
I mean, think, if you got if you're like a 6 foot man, just imagine that's like 4 of you in a row lying down. Pretty much.
Damn, man.
You know?
That's big.
I don't believe it.
I wish I could see it flying through the sky.
No, me too.
Just to experience that.
Be magnificent.
Eclipse the sun.
Eclipse the sun. 23 feet wingspan. They think that standing up on its, if it was just, on the ground, standing up.
On its legs.
Obviously, depending on, genetics and sex, etc., it would have been between 5.6 feet tall and 6.6 feet tall. So just imagine that, a bird that's on its
Quite
feet.
a big bird, man.
Imagine that, staring you dead in the eye, or maybe even taller than you. That's a terrifying bird. And let's face it, birds do tend to be quite they're not the warmest of animals. Do you know what I mean? On the whole, I mean, I'm
pecky, man.
I'm not talking about
pecky
about nice little canaries.
No
stuff. I'm talking about think about. Seagulls can be vicious.
Oh, those darn seagulls.
And even like things
Hawks.
like chickens. For any of my rural friends out there, like
chickens are badass.
If chickens aren't like nice little cute little creatures. I'm not saying they're not good
They
pets.
look a bit like dinosaurs to me, man.
Well, they're related to the Tyrannosaurus Rex, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
But like if you have like meat left over in your kitchen and you go and sprinkle that, your chickens will gobble that up. I mean, they're not like, oh, we're nice little. We're just gonna eat seeds now. No.
We'll eat whatever's in front of us, man.
Oh, they'll eat anything. They're brutal
right.
things. I watched a video once of a chicken destroying a crow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the crow had done to anger
crow.
the chicken, but the chicken effed that crow up.
I also saw a video of a chicken and with his little chickies.
Right.
And a hawk came down to try and get the chickies,
chicks?
the little chickies. And
chicken ducks?
this chicken went goddamn crazy on the hawk. Hawk had to fly away. Could not win. I was like, hey man, he's taking on the hawk.
They can be surprisingly macho.
Yeah, macho chicken.
You guys ever own any chickens? We used to have some chickens.
Oh, you had some
back in my
damn
home.
fine chickens.
Yeah.
You had some of the finest chickens I ever saw
Damn
in my
right.
life. They're fluffy little chickens.
I've not
chickens
had
this side of the
chickens.
equator.
I think my cat is. I wanted to get chickens, but my current cat that I've got, Mr. Scraggs,
Mr. Scraggs will rip those chickens apart, man.
he is like. There's different types of cats. Now we all know that. But some domestic cats are very domestic. Other domestic cats aren't so domestic.
He's still full predator mode,
I mean,
man.
yeah. Last week actually, we talked. I remember I was talking about how he catches rats.
Oh,
and
the
all.
rat, the massive rat.
Basically, if he can kill something, he will kill it. And
But he'd play with it first.
Brought
Well-
in the one from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah,
Little
what's
trainer.
it? Splinter.
Yeah, Master Splinter.
Master Splinter. Rest in peace.
He was running about in your house.
I know, man. He was trying to do kung fu. But I mean, yeah. So I'd like chickens, and I will get one day. But I just do not trust Mr. Scraggs that
He'd
he
get in that chicken coop as well.
I mean, people,
Foxes too. There's a
Exact-
lot of
oh,
foxes. We
where-
lost lots of foxes.
where you live, man?
where I live out in the Gorgon,
Lots of, yes, the Gorgon.
out in the Gorgon. Yeah, man. Foxes and cats everywhere. And the thing is people are like, why don't you just get a little bit of wiring? Anybody that knows cats knows that Cats can jump like 7 feet just from the ground. You see a cat like jump on a fence from the ground, easy peasy. I don't think a bit of 3 foot tall wiring is going to stop my cat from getting in there.
Yeah, or a coop where you put it on the top as well.
Yeah.
But then that kind of defeats the object.
I think it would end up just being almost like too annoying.
Yeah.
Too stressful, too much work for what, you know what I mean? It's like if...
For just some free eggs.
Yeah, exactly. But one day I'm going to get them. One day I will get them.
We had a suicidal chicken.
Oh, no.
In our pack.
Well, no way.
We all went on holiday for a little while.
Yeah.
And we had a pond.
Right.
And we excavated the pond because we were making it into like a decking. So we got rid of all the water. And we had sort of a plank going across this pond, empty pond. And my brother, Zueswar the Gold.
Oh, Zueswar the Gold.
Zueswar the Gold. I remember him telling me the story of going back out into the back garden, and this chicken just looked at him and took the plunge.
Oh,
took the dive into the pond.
I like the fact that he looked at him first like he was like saying,
sending a message.
Goodbye, my friend.
Goodbye, my brother.
I've had enough of this world.
Yeah.
I need to move on to the next realm. You know?
Chicken Valhalla.
That sounds like a bit intense, you know, the fact that like Zueswar the Gold was just chilling in the garden and then the chicken just looks at him. You know?
And then,
yeah,
dive on.
Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it still had water in it at that point, and we were about to get rid of it.
I'm gonna
So I
say,
don't
man,
know
he
how
probably
it would
would have
die.
survived.
That's what I was thinking.
A short 4-foot drop.
Definitely,
I mean,
definitely jumped
doesn't
from
sound
this.
like that bad, really, you know?
Yeah.
But into the water, maybe, I can imagine he'd drown from that.
Maybe
Chickens
it was the
aren't-
water.
I'm surprised
That would make
Zueswar
sense.
the Gold didn't get into his pants and dive in there for that
well,
chicken.
you know,
though.
Zueswar, he can't
He
swim.
doesn't like water.
Yeah.
No,
He can barely dog a paddle, let alone
Wet
breaststroke.
feet.
Yeah,
He'd
you know.
be doing the chicken paddle.
I mean, I've swum with that guy on several occasions, and he's a great runner, great musician, great artist, but the man cannot swim to save his life, or to save the life of a chicken.
No. Poor chicken.
It's a known fact. It's a known fact about that curly-haired wonder. But just quickly finishing off my facts about the giant Teratorn. So 23-foot wingspan, could grow up as tall to 6.6 feet tall on the ground, and weighed about 70 kilograms, maybe just over. I mean, you say 70 kilograms isn't that heavy. I mean, it's about as much.
Me.
That's about as much as Stretch
About as
McCoy.
me.
But at the same time, you think birds have to be really light to take to the skies. They can't afford to be big lumps like myself. So, you know, that's heavy for a bird, man.
The wings are all kind of just sort of wings.
Feathers.
And a little bit of skin. There's not too much meat packing on the wings.
They got hollow bones.
Hollow bones.
They got them hollow bones.
They got little air sacs in the bones because you know if it was solid bone, it would obviously immediately
More dense, more
increase
heavy.
the weight of the animal quite substantially.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they got hollow bones. Most things that take to the skies that are vertebrates, by that I mean have bones, have hollow bones. You know, hollow,
Nice, man.
Hollow
bones. Oh, something really exciting happened. I read an exciting article.
What's that, man? What's going on, man?
Just yesterday. I saved something on my phone. Wait,
Hot
let's
off
get
the press?
Oh, God.
Have you heard
Yeah.
that police have confirmed a report of a panther in our county?
In Somerset.
In our county,
They
of
always
Somerset.
talk about that. They always talk about
Oh, my word.
Would you, for y'all listening all over the world, you would not expect to hear that a confirmed panther sighting has taken place in little old England, would you?
No.
So we live in
Somerset, no
West Country, England. And we're so west that we're by the sea. So we are as far west in England as you can possibly get. We're like
Southwest.
We're like some sort of south. Obviously, we're from the
west,
south.
we got these accents.
Can you not hear our accents?
Yeah.
Of course, we're from the south. We're from the deep south. But So can you believe that, lads?
Man, that's
Is that
cool.
where was it?
It was in
Exmoor?
Whittam Friary. Whittam Friary, it's near Frome and Brewton.
Oh, yeah. I know
in
that.
Somerset. So
I know that place.
just a little bit further north than we are, but only by about 40 miles.
You gotta think if there's one out there, there's got to be more. Surely, it's got to have a partner, maybe a friend,
maybe more. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys a weird story something I witnessed when I was out on the hike once, and I've never really didn't really occur to me until last night that actually, what I found was actually quite substantial and weird. I think at the time, when you're faced sometimes with odd situations in life, and
you almost logicalize it.
Yeah, you almost like overly rationalize the situation because it's almost like, well, what else do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
You're just like, well,
make it normal
well, I'm here. This is happening. Regardless of how weird it is, I know I'm awake. I know it's happening. So I'm just gonna keep on trekking.
Gonna do something.
I just gotta keep on going.
Keep on.
Just
rolling,
keep on
baby.
moving. But now in hindsight, it's one of those things. In hindsight, it was a weird thing to do. But yeah, so. A big cat, a panther, has been, a confirmed report of a panther has been seen, reported, in Whittam Friary in North Somerset. There have been lots of big cat sightings around Frome and Bruton in Somerset over the last few years. Bruton is, by the way, is famous in Somerset, but also all of England for being a hot spot for celebrity homes. So Bruton is considered one of the nicest, if not the nicest, places to live in Somerset, and it's renowned for, as I said, celebrities from all over the world, from Hollywood, from other places in America, Canada, Europe. A lot of people have holiday homes there. It's a very pleasant area. It's very close to major cities like Bath and Bristol, which themselves are very nice cities to go to. Great food, great history for Bath. With the Romans and all that. It used to be known as Aquasulus back in the Roman days. Aquasulus. Known for its hot springs. That's why the Romans built there. And you can actually go, there's an old Roman bath, which you can actually visit it, and you can still swim in to this day.
In those hot springs, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby. The Romans.
I didn't even know that.
The Romans.
Yeah, man,
I knew you could go there. I didn't think you could go in it.
Well, you could. I'm not sure if you actually can.
I think you can.
I think
Really?
certain days of the year.
Yeah,
I think certain days of the year or something like that.
It's a spa.
They open it.
Oh, my.
They have. Yeah. I mean, it's called Bath Spa.
Yeah.
Bath. But I know. There's remains of old Roman architecture there and all sorts, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
amazing.
That's cool.
Y'all think that big cat could be an illegal pet of one of those celebrities?
Johnny Depp.
I hear about that sometimes. They keep a lot of those, exotic pets.
Exotic pets.
Illegal in England. And apparently when it happened and it made it illegal in England, a lot of people set them free into the wild.
I was just about to say that, my good old friend Deputy Raymond Jr. So it wasn't illegal to own any sort of pet in Brittany, until I think it was the mid-'60s or late '60s. So up until then, you could have anything as a pet, anything you wanted.
Yeah, man, you could have snakes.
Monkeys.
You still have snakes now, but monkeys.
Man, I was gonna say crazier stuff than snakes. Yeah, you could have
Tiger.
Yeah, tigers, monkeys, panthers,
hippopotamus,
crocodiles,
hippopotamus, giraffe. Maybe?
Hippopotamus. I don't know of anybody that's owned a hippopotamus other than Pablo Escobar.
Well, you know.
I don't want to go off track too much because I'm really bad for that. But did you know that there's a really bad hippopotamus problem in is it
Brighton?
Is it Colombia now? But that was where Pablo Escobar was the lord of it. It was Colombia. Of course, Colombian drug lords. But because of the climate is very suitable for them. If you think about hippopotamuses, they come from Africa.
Like bunny rabbits.
They come from Africa, so they like hot climate with lots of water.
Lots of water.
Just like Africa, South America is very hot, and there's lots of water. So all the hippos that Pablo Escobar had on his compound have since Pablo Escobar's demise,
they've been humping like crazy.
And they've escaped the compound. And now there's a major problem in Colombia with hippopotamuses.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Word.
And if you think about it, in Africa, because it's like the last remnants of the megafauna in Africa, you know what I mean by that is like really big animals, obviously. In just that one continent, you got giraffes, elephants, lions, rhinos, hippos, Nile crocodiles, wildebeest, buffalo, zebra, all that crazy stuff. So it's like there are other animals almost like to keep hippos in check. You know, every now and again, a hippo might anger a rhino. A rhino might gore it. Every now and again, a pride of lions might see a hippo that's wandered a little bit too much away from its friends.
Bite him right on the ass.
Bite him right on the ass until he's died. A crocodile might take a young hippo, something like that. So there's things that can sort of bounce out. And in South America, don't get me wrong, there's nasty, vicious creatures in South America, but there's not as many things that can challenge the majesty and the might of a hippopotamus. So the hippos are taking over.
Real well over there, man.
They're taking over. They've taken the spot where Pablo Escobar used to be the top guy in Colombia. Now the mighty hippo is.
Running for
His
president.
legacy is living on in the hippos.
The hippos are now the drug lords of Colombia.
That's right.
Colombian drug lords, the hippopotamuses. But what we said, we're talking about big cats. Big cats back in old England.
Do you think, because I know there's something called the Exmoor beast.
Yeah, man, that's
Do you
where it
think
comes from, man.
That might be still about then.
Never say never.
Maybe not.
Or maybe it's descendant.
Maybe it's a descendant of the Exmoor beast.
Never say never. Never say never. The only thing, the thing is, I don't think it would be a descendant of specifically the Exmoor beast. You gotta bear in mind.
Maybe it's kind of mated with some other big cats that are about.
The thing is, obviously, although Exmoor isn't that far away from Bruden, think they would have to travel quite a way, and there's quite a lot of like man-made settlements that an animal would have to move. I think that if, say, there was a big cat in Exmoor, I think it would stick to Exmoor and Quantox.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
I could imagine
can't really join up without going through the.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I
could definitely see a beast in Exmoor stumbling onto the Quantox because they're close enough. You know, you could walk. You could go from the Exmoor and go across fields directly into the Quantox, which, for those of you that don't know, Exmoor and the Quantox are both areas of outstanding natural beauty in England.
Oh, they damn beautiful.
And they're basically, it's just mile upon mile upon mile of nothing but forests and streams and hills and just beautiful landscape. You know, untouched by man, pretty much. You know, so it's and a big animal like that could survive, but I don't think they would travel as far as Bruton because there's too much man-made stuff in the way. Too many roads.
Makes me wonder how
Maybe it
many.
hitchhiked. Maybe it hitchiked, man.
Hitchhiked.
Maybe it was like, excuse me, my
Lonesome
friend, Mr. Bojangles, could you give me a lift to Bruton, England? I'm a little bit fed up of my surroundings.
I wonder if
Gotta
there's like
explore.
more than one out there.
Well,
There's a few.
I've been wanting to go to it for a little while now, but I know that in Devon, I think it's near Lynton and Lynmouth somewhere, there's a really good zoo, and it's got a whole exhibit on the Exmoor beast with potential samples of the Exmoor beast, sightings, all the best information there. And I've wanted to go now for several years, but I haven't got around to it yet. But I think that'd be a cool place to go.
Yeah, man, I'm up for going to visit that.
Apart from anything else, Lynton and Lynmouth's a beautiful place, isn't it? It's a beautiful place. So, you know, think.
Dandy beautiful place.
Go on a nice little drive, go at Porlock Hill, which, by the way, is the tallest, the steepest hill that you can drive up in the whole of the UK. In the whole of the UK. So I'm including Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and all that.
One big hill.
And it is a bit dodgy, ain't it, driving up it?
Yeah, man, you gotta go first gear for that turn.
Oh, yeah,
There's a turn right at the top. Yep. Got to slow right down. You try to do that in second, you start rolling backwards, man.
And you got to make sure you got a good handbrake and good brakes, because if you have to rely on that, you want to make sure you can rely on that. Because, you do not want to start coming down the other way. You might die.
It's even weird going down that hill when you're on the way back.
It's weird,
It's
man.
like you're on goddamn roller coaster or something.
It's weird. It's weirdly steep. It's so steep that you almost imagine that you could potentially fall back. But luckily, obviously, that would never happen. But, it's a dodgy road. But then you come out at the top, you drive across beautiful land.
Oh, yeah, like the moors.
You see beautiful sea on the right-hand side, and you come down to this beautiful little valley, and then you get this lovely little town, I think it's a town, called Lynmouth.
Yeah,
and
man.
Beautiful blue sea, some nice little cafes, great little art store there.
Nice, yeah.
Really great stuff. And a nice river that runs all the way in this like valley through the trees out into the sea. It's a beautiful place.
Part of the world, man.
It's a gorgeous part of the world.
And Valley of Rocks a bit
the Valley of the Rocks.
From Lynton and Lynmouth. Man, I was up there and I was like, I could be in a different country right now.
Oh, it's amazing.
You know?
I think that...
Beautiful turquoise sea.
Oh, I think it's like contrasting landscapes can be quite majestic. You know, it's just like, say you're driving, and then, you know, you drive up onto the hills, and it's almost like moorland, like heathland. You know, there's lots of like, you know, heath and heather and all that. And then you come down, and suddenly you're in this nice little like seaside town, and you're just looking at the marvelous sea, etc. But then you keep on driving, and next thing you know, well, the Valley of the Rocks, as the name implies, it's this just a crazy Valley of the Rocks. And it just looks like something that you can imagine where like giants live or something. Do you know what I mean?
Man, yeah,
It looks like if giants were gonna live somewhere, they live in the Valley of the Rocks.
It's on the coastline. All these rocks protruding from the coastline, and it's a different type of coastline than I'd ever seen in the UK before. Normally it's like brown and stuff, but this is like these granite gray rocks just build up.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what mineral composition, what rock exactly it is.
Looks a bit granity.
It looks very hard. Yeah, it's gray and looks tough.
Gray.
Because around where we're filming this, it's known for its sandstone deposit, sandstone mines and stuff. So there's a lot of red brick, which I think is very aesthetically appealing. But it's not anything like sandstone, is it? It's it's very gray, looks very hard, very granite-like. But I want to tell you all, they got big mountain goats there as well, haven't they?
Oh, man, those mountain goats up on the Valley of the Rocks.
The Valley of the Rocks.
You see them up on the side there, and you think, how the hell did you get there, Mr. Goat? It's just like on this vertical cliff, and they just chill up on the little protruding rocks and chilling in the sun. So good.
Crazy goats, man. But I want to tell you guys about a little weird experience I had probably about 2 years ago now, maybe more, maybe 3. And for some reason, it was really weird to me at the time, but I didn't make a big deal out of it. Maybe I should have done. Maybe I should have rang some sort of ranger or something. But I really like going on long hikes on my own on the Quantock Hills and all through the forests and the hills and stuff.
The
foliage. And I was out on this long hike, and I was proper off the beaten track. Just like at the time, I was miles away from the nearest house, miles away from the nearest road or car, and I was just walking, and then I came across the freshly dyed corpse of a sheep.
Oh,
right?
Man, okay.
Right. It was one of those sheep with the horns.
The horn, like
I've
a ram.
seen that. I've seen one of
those
them. I went to I don't know where it was. I went somewhere, one of the villages.
It was like
maybe
a very wild sort of looking species of sheep, aren't they?
Yeah, and I saw like a sheep, but it didn't have a head.
Dang.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
I was on a walk with my mom.
Really?
Yeah.
You came across a decapitated headless sheep. Well, this is a little bit like my story, Stretch McCoy. So, it was clearly freshly dead. It hadn't started decomposing yet, and I could tell by the blood. The blood was like a bright, vibrant red. When it's blood after a few hours, it goes almost like purple, doesn't it? It goes dark, like a purple, and it's like
maroon.
The what was left of the animal, like it still had its head in that, like its eyes weren't like sunken in or its face, so it was like freshly dead, but like the body had full on been eaten.
Oh my God!
The body, it was like dead on its side, and like from like its head down to its ass, pretty much, it was like ripped open, and like it all been eaten.
Damn, man!
And I'm saying this was like
freshly eaten.
This was a fresh kill. Like I could almost feel the warmth radiating off the carcass. Do you know what I mean?
The energy.
And the blood was bright red. As I said, it wasn't like when it goes old and it goes dark, like a really dark maroon or purple. It wasn't like that. It was like fresh, like almost like the red on our microphones. It was a bright, vibrant red. Like when you just cut your hand, if you cut yourself and it's fresh and it looks bright. It was like that. And as I said, it hadn't had any of its features sunken in or anything like that. There wasn't any serious signs of decay. It seemed like it had been freshly dyed and it had been eaten. And there's only 2 examples explanations, I can possibly think of. Now, either it died of a natural course, like it had like a heart attack or a brain aneurysm or something like that, or had some sort of disease that it died. And in that short amount of time between it dying and me finding it, maybe foxes and maybe some stray dogs. I don't know.
Badgers.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing that makes it weird about the foxes and the badgers is they are normally nocturnal. Now, obviously, wild animals are very opportunistic. So if there were some burrowed creatures nearby and maybe they smell death on the air, they might have gone and scavenged because, let's face it, things like foxes and badgers aren't going to turn their nose up at carrion. But there's 2 explanations. There's either that in the middle of the day, a normally nocturnal animal came out of their burrows in the short amount of time between that animal's death and me finding this animal, and it had eaten this animal, right? along with probably things like birds, or an unknown predator actively killed that sheep out in the middle of nowhere off the beaten track in the Quantock Hills and had killed and eaten that creature. And if that is the case, then that is extremely bizarre and strange because accepted science says that there are no predators that could do such a thing in southwest England.
The only other thing is some dogs.
Well, as I said, like a stray dog.
But that far out, you know, is there stray dogs?
Well, as I
living out
said,
in the
there was nobody around me. There were no people around me. I mean, there's always a chance that a dog might go rogue and go a bit stray. So I mean, it could happen. I mean, say you bought a dog and it had like a violent past. And then you tried to, like, you know, give it a new life,
and it could fend for itself a little bit.
But imagine that dog then ran away, and you know you hear tales sometimes of people, you know, they lose a cat or a dog, they'll just never see it again.
Yeah.
Or months later they'll see it again.
Yeah,
it's just chilling. That's what happened with that cat that Megan had in Ludlow.
Yeah.
Remember I said, and they just for 2 months
been hanging out with foxes.
It was just gone, and then they just saw it sitting chilling next to a fox.
Yeah,
just sitting there right next to it. And
cool.
this cat was a big orange cat, but a real big orange cat.
Maybe
and
thought
they
it was
said
a fox.
He would just go for days, you know, for days at a time.
He was like, I'm orange, you're orange, let's be friends.
Yeah,
the
man.
Fox.
Friend
but
of fox.
you know, sometimes, you know, people with their pet will disappear, and they'll think they will never know what happened to it. They'll be like, did somebody take it? Did it just go and decide to live for somebody else? You know, you just don't know. Did it die? Did it get hit by a car and somebody buried it?
I think it's called it might be called Into the Wild or Wolf of the Wild or something like that.
Sounds good.
And it's a real good book about this dog that is domesticated. Domesticized dog. No, domesticated dog. I do know what I'm saying, really. But it would just go out into the wild, and it was a story about this dog and how it could still feel the blood of the wolves.
Oh, I can feel the blood of the wolf inside myself.
Body. And it just knew he was belonged in the wild in some aspect of his
Sometimes
soul.
I feel like I feel like that about myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, same here, man.
Sometimes I'm there and I'm like doing some work for the old station or something else, or I'll get my council tax bill through or something like that, and I just think, man, why don't I just go and like build a little hut in the middle of the woods somewhere, and I'll just be known as that like crazy man that lives in the woods.
Yeah, man.
But I'll be happy.
Yeah, man.
I'll just be
There's
fishing.
something that would make you so happy about that
farming.
lifestyle, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll just be like spending my days fishing, and because that sort of work, because you know it's like we have a weird like opinion of like work nowadays, and I think that people very quickly get like branded as like lazy or something if they're not full on like contributing to society. But the thing is, I think like in terms of like pure what you would think of as like pure old fashioned hard work, like fishing, hunting, gardening, building a shelter, like to me that's fun.
Yeah, man. If you're doing that and you can see the results from it, it's like very rewarding, man. But sometimes you can sit down in front of a computer all day.
Oh man,
do all
soul
that.
Destroying.
Yeah, man, and then you finish up and you're like, man.
Yeah.
My day just gone.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's weird, isn't it? Because you could be working your behind off, say, as I said, like cutting down trees, building a shack, fishing, farming, hunting, all that good stuff, like making crafts, you know, making yourself in the evening, you know, making yourself wooden tools, wooden spoons, and bow and arrows. Nice little things you're making for yourself, so you're being 100% sustainable and 100% self-reliant. But it's almost like just because you technically didn't have like a job, like a 9 to 5, it's almost like society would like look down on you. It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's almost like a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
And at the end of the day, what's harder, really? Doing all that stuff I just mentioned, or like standing at a checkout
man.
for 8 hours a day, or
and the thing
staring
is,
at a computer screen.
And if you know how to do all that stuff, what you said about being self-sufficient, man, like it's scary how unself-sufficient we are as a race.
Oh, sometimes I think about that.
You know, it's that I know we talked about that before, but we need to bring some of those skills back as a society. Else, if you know the lights went out, imagine the riots, man. You didn't have electricity for a week. Y'all would see how crazy people are.
It's honestly, it's one of the reasons I work out, because I think like, you know, I want to keep my machine ready.
In tune, man.
For if I have to
Tuned right up.
You gotta be ready.
In case of emergency.
You gotta be ready, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You gotta
have those kukris.
I carry around. Yeah, gotta keep your kukri and your hatchet,
your battle axe,
at the ready. And you know what? In my bag, some people would probably find this really funny, but I carry around with me. It's like a little bag of like tinder, and it's like flints and a little stone in that.
You won't get a fire going.
So
man.
it's basically like I can make a fire wherever I go because you never know when you're gonna need to at the end of the day. You know.
Yeah, man.
It's important stuff to have. But we're gonna listen to a song now, so we'll be back soon. This is a Wayfaring Stranger by the band 16 Horsepower. Thanks for chilling with us this evening on Pandora's Box. I am your host, Cletus Jackson, and with me as usual is Deputy Raymond Jr. and Stretch McCoy. Welcome back to Pandora's Box. Thanks for being with us all this evening. This is the second Redneck edition of Pandora's Box we've ever done. We're back by popular demand due to a request from several listeners, actually. So
these amazing accents.
Thank you for requesting. We are happy to oblige all of our beloved listeners out there. So that last track was Billy, Boney, and Ma by my beloved Townes Van Zandt. Before that, we had the track Wayfaring Stranger by 16 Horsepower. I believe Stretch McCoy, to the left of me, young Stretch McCoy.
This is correct.
Has a question for yours truly, Cletus Jackson, and the man to the right of me, Deputy Raymond Jr.
I've got a question for you, gents.
Bring it on.
Strictly, I'm going to say this strictly, animals that are around today.
Right.
What is the biggest animal you could defeat in hand-to-hand combat?
Oh, that's a hard one. What? Just unarmed.
Unarmed, hand-to-hand.
So it has to be just 100% unarmed, just my fists, my teeth, and my wits.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to have a quick think about that one.
You got anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think mine would be a gazelle.
Gazelle?
While we're thinking about this, I want you to think about it as well and let us know what is the biggest animal that you think you could defeat with your bare hands. Have a little think about it. Let us know somehow. You can either contact me.
Just comment.
You comment on our
whatever form you're watching.
Yeah, comment. YouTube's, whatever.
On TikTok.
We've also got an Instagram, Pandora's Box Instagram. So if you're not following us on that, we only started it a couple of weeks back, about maybe a month ago now, but please give us a follow on that. And then you can interact with us. We put up lots of different like photos and clips there.
Pandora's Box
just an extra way to interact with us, y'all, really.
I reckon I could take a sheep.
Oh, I'd hope so.
I think I could take a sheep.
Man,
do you reckon you could take a cow?
No.
Cow? No? Couldn't like a dairy cow?
Not unarmed, man.
No?
A cow.
Can't just tip it?
A cow's a tank.
What? Don't people go cow tipping? What's that?
Man, cow.
They're quite friendly creatures, to be fair, unless it's a bull.
Whoa, no, actually, the most dangerous type of cow is a mother cow. Mother cows are more dangerous.
Actually, my sister got chased by a mother cow once.
It's a little known fact, or maybe not so little known fact, that mother cows are actually more aggressive even than bulls. So
wow, man, protecting those young.
People die in the UK by getting trampled by cows every year. Every year there are a couple of fatalities.
Dangerous, man, dangerous.
A lot of people walk through a field, especially if they're, say, from an urban environment, not used to that rural lifestyle, and they'll think, I'm having a nice little holiday weekend, long weekend in some rural location.
Stroll through the wrong field.
Yep,
get
and
a face full
you
of
think,
cow
it's just a friendly bunch of mother cows with their calves. But you get too close to the calves, sometimes the mothers see red. And the thing is, things like cows, they're not that bright. They're not very bright animals. They're very simple creatures, but they know certain things, and that is, if a potential threat gets near their young, attack the threat.
Attack.
The problem is when you're dealing with something like a cow, they are big, heavy.
They're like half a ton
animals, and say they charge you and they knock you on your back, and I mean, I weigh about 100 kilos. And am a bit over 6 feet tall, but even so, a cow could if a cow charged me and it hit contact with me, if I didn't evade it in time, a cow could easily knock me on my behind. At that point, if I don't get up in time and it starts trampling me, right? If it kicks me in the head while I'm down,
splat goes the head.
The strength and weight combined of that cow will give my brain enough trauma that I will be dead.
Right.
Egg yolk, exactly.
So what are you fighting?
Smashing an egg.
So what are you fighting? If you have to, one animal. Drew, you got an answer?
Yeah, I told you, man, a gazelle.
Gazelle.
Actually,
you reckon you're quick enough?
No, if it was running right at me, I'd just give it a quick right hook.
Yeah.
Down it goes.
I think you could take one. It's just if he wants to fight.
I think you could take one.
I think a honey badger.
Oh man, I'd kill a badger.
That's smaller than a gazelle.
The badgers are really, aggressive.
I've had an interaction with a badger. We're gonna wait a minute. We're gonna have to continue this chat after this next couple of songs. Sorry, we're running out of time in the first hour. We're gonna listen to a song now. Think about what animal that you think you can beat in unarmed combat. We're gonna listen to a track now. This is House that Jack built. We're gonna carry on after the break, guys. Enjoy this.
Is a honey badger even something?
Yeah, it's an African badger.
Yeah, that's the one.
They have to be really vicious because they live in Africa. So they have to contend with things like hyenas and lions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be mine, a honey badger.
Apparently they're super vicious.
Is that bigger than a gazelle?
No, they're about the same size.
Gazelle's probably bigger, no?
They're about the same size as a European badger, but they're just well more ill-tempered. But it makes sense why, because of like the environment.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't actually want to go for one of them.
Apparently they're mate, you can watch videos of them like squaring up to freaking lions.
The fact if it bit you, get TB as well or something.
Oh yeah, man, you get horrible disease.
They look like they have like quite a lot of force in their bite as well.
You could just kick it.
I thought you were going to say a lot of force.
You could just kick it though. I reckon you could take that,
just kick it in the head over and over again.
You'd be alright.
Curb stomp it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let's carry on the old on the recording.
Yeehaw! Here we are, guys.
Oh my,
we're back. Last track was Lungs by Tam Van Zandt. We were thinking about what animals we could defeat in unarmed combat. I still haven't fully decided myself.
Mine's a honey badger.
Deputy Raymond Jr. to the right of me has decided that the largest animal that he could defeat in unarmed combat is the African honey badger.
I'm still going with sheep.
You're going with sheep. I'm still
a ram or a woman sheep.
Either. I'll beat him.
Okay.
I'll beat him. Gender doesn't matter when it comes to unarmed combat with a sheep.
That's right.
I'm still struggling to think, guys.
Dolphin? A dolphin?
I mean, depends. I mean, if it was on land all day.
Yeah.
But I think in the water, I think it would probably, if it wanted to,
get the best of you.
Well, because they can swim so fast, and if it rammed me really hard, I mean, there's instances of dolphins killing sharks because the pod of dolphins will take it in turns to ram sharks at full speed, and in the end, it causes enough internal damage to the shark that the sharks die. So if it can kill a shark, you're gonna kill me.
I was gonna say, I don't think you have a chance against a
dolphin. Not in their natural habitat. I mean, I'm just trying to think. It's really hard a question actually.
A clam? Maybe?
I could definitely kill a clam.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely could. It's a really hard question.
What about like a mount? What you get in America sometimes? There are these wildcats. They're like
a bobcat,
like a lynx
or a
bobcat.
Yeah. A cougar. Is that what you're on about?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, man.
That'd be a tough fight.
I see one chasing this runner, and he keeps turning around and he scares it off in the end.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like, man,
I mean,
he could have been a gunner.
I reckon I could deter one from attacking me through the combination of size and intimidation. But if we were locked in battle, I mean,
you'd have to rip out its throat.
My only chance, my tactic by fighting a cougar would be either to strangle it. But you got to bear in mind, I would be getting sliced up. While I was strangling it, I would have to have the mental fortitude to block out the pain because its claws would be ripping my arms to shreds, trying to trying to get me to stop it from killing it. I would be digging my thumbs into its throat while strangling it with every bit of my force. Either that, or I'll tell you what I would also do. I would try and stick my arm down its throat. Because it's the easiest way to choke an animal. And also, if you stick your hand down, it wouldn't work with something like a tiger or a lion, because I think their mouth would be big enough, it would bite off my hand. But I think there would be enough, I reckon it would be a perfect size of a cougar that I reckon I could just about fit my fist and my forearm down there in a way that it would choke. Without it, but it would be its mouth would be so strained it wouldn't be able to bite anymore. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if somebody if somebody put their fist in you wouldn't really be able to bite.
Oh my!
You wouldn't really be able to bite, would you?
It's gone a bit X-rated.
It would be so strained you wouldn't be able to bite. So I reckon that I would try and do that with a cougar. So maybe, but I would need serious medical attention afterwards.
What about a chimp?
The thing is,
chimp will rip your face off, man.
I want to say yes.
And your balls.
My heart says yes, my brain says no. I would give it a good go.
Aren't they like 4 times the strength of a man?
Yeah, they reckon that the average like fully grown male chimp is about the size 4 times stronger than the average male human.
I think with all these sort of animals, your best shot is distance. You just gotta kick.
Yeah.
You just gotta kick.
Especially
and
if
keep him, you know that little trick where you go on your back? You're almost like cycling on your back.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't want to get on my back with a chimp looming over me. But I do agree with you. Use your feet, especially if I have my boots on. The chimp keeps trying to run at me. Big boot. You know, like back in wrestling, like The Undertaker or Kane.
Punt.
You know, I would like just straight up big boot that chimp in the face. And then it got up, keep running towards me again. You know, I would boot that little son of a gun in the face out again. Because, I mean, there are reports. I mean, did you know? I think we've talked about this in the pod before, actually. Chimps are smart enough and they are similar enough to us.
They know your weak points.
They know our weak points. So there are literally accounts of chimpanzees attacking men, and they will rip a man's genitalia off. And I am not joking.
Son.
They know that that's what you value most as a man, so they deliberately go for that. There's also they either go for the genitalia or they go for the face. And there's quite a famous story about a woman who had a pet chimpanzee in America once, decades ago, and it grown up always real peaceful. But you never can fully domesticate a wild animal. And one day, this woman had her friend over. For some reason, the chimpanzee flipped, and it bit that woman's face off.
That is brutal.
And there's a recording. I believe it's on YouTube. It's a little bit disturbing, so
don't watch that.
Only listen to. You can't watch anything. You can just hear the audio. But if you've got a strong stomach, you can hear. I believe you can see it listen to it on YouTube, and it's a recording of the
police conversation
when the woman phoned the police, and the woman is so distraught. You can hear her screaming, and this chimpanzee going mental in the background, and going, "Excuse me, yeah, hello, ma'am, this is such and such police department. I need help straight away." I was like, "Why is that, ma'am?" My chimpanzee's biting my friend's face off.
God,
and in the background you just hear like,
my word.
And you just hear this woman like screaming.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, viewer discretion is advised. So, only go and listen to that if you think that you have the mental fortitude for it. It's not for the faint of heart. But yeah, pretty brutal. But back to your original question. I mean, yet again, a little bit like with the cougar. I think something like a chimp or a cougar, you're pushing the boundaries of what a human could possibly potentially defeat with unarmed. I think that if I did, yet again, I think I would need serious medical attention afterwards. I would probably have chunks of flesh missing. I would be damaged.
I doubt you could take a cougar, and my reason for that is the nails, man, the claws.
Well, that's what I'm. But that's why I said, like, so if I would just have to strangle it or try and choke it, and just accept
Hope
the
you
fact.
Don't bleed out after.
Yeah.
Accept the fact that I was walking away with some serious scars.
You'd have to end it quickly.
Oh yeah,
You'd have to end it.
I would
quick.
be squeezing that throat. So if my life was on the line, I would be biting tooth and nail. I'd be biting that cougar.
That's right.
I'd be biting it, clawing it, doing everything I possibly could. We are a wild animal too. At the end of the day, we might not think it anymore, but we are. What else? I'm trying to think of any other animals. I mean, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of like say animals that are most obvious to me, like. I mean, like farm animals. Like I don't think like a horse or a cow. They're just too big.
What about a big angry pig?
Oh, I could kill a pig, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like a domesticated pig.
What about like a wild?
What, like a warthog?
Or a boar? Yeah.
Oh, yet again, I think it would be a close battle. I mean, people have throughout history died from attacks from boars.
Yeah.
They got big tusks.
And on the old the hunts.
Oh,
People could die on the hunts going boar hunting.
On Game of Thrones, remember King Robert Baratheon died?
Yeah, that's it.
On
that's
a boar hunt.
Where I saw that.
He died in a boar hunt. He got gored, got infected,
bored, man.
died. Gored by a boar. Gore boar. A boar gore.
What about a donkey?
Oh, man, the thing is, man, animals like that, if they kick you, man, yet again, like what I was saying about the cow.
You ever heard that old story of the horse who kicked the lion?
Oh, I'm expecting.
It just died on the spot.
Do you know what? It's so funny you said that, because just the other day, it popped up as a suggestion on my YouTube, and I watched a video of a zebra knocking out a wildebeest.
Oh, a zebra's a good one.
Whoa, man. That
Man,
sounds
you
cool.
can watch that on YouTube. You might even be able to get it up. For people that want to see it on YouTube, Stretch McCoy will try and get it up. Just type on YouTube, zebra KOs wildebeest. And I tell you what, you think of a wildebeest, first start, the name itself, wildebeest. It's very impressive.
Like wild beast.
Yeah, it's a formidable name. You know, so you look at it, it sort of looks a little bit like a bull or something like that, but it looks more feral. And then you think of like a zebra, you're like, well, you know, it's just a stripy horse.
Stripy horse, man.
But I'm telling you, I have a newfound respect for the zebra because this zebra,
some kicking force.
basically, I don't know what was going on. I think that basically they were at a watering hole or something like that.
Got a video up.
Yeah, that's it. You get that up. So if you're watching on the tubes, you'll be able to see this video now. If you're not watching on tubes, go on the tubes and watch it. So,
ladies and gents, focus on the mouse. Focus on where the mouse is. This is the one you want to watch. You see that?
Whoa,
you watch that?
Well, you got to play that again. I didn't quite see.
Here we go, slow-mo.
Straight in the head, man.
And look, that wildebeest is not. It's not right.
It hits him with a sweet
and look,
music.
In the commotion, all the rest of the wildebeests and the zebras, they run off, and that wildebeest does not know where he's at,
He's
son.
not happy.
He temporarily has lost the use of his legs. That's how coyote is. He fell to the ground like a sack of potatoes. There's also a video similar to that also came up with my suggestion, so I watched that also. I don't know what it says about me that these sort of videos are coming up with my suggestions, but of a zebra KO and a warthog.
Oh, okay.
I think the warthogs are getting a little bit too aggressive. They're at like a watering hole, and the warthogs are being mischievous, and they were almost like biting the zebra's butts, or like trying to, or like the back of their legs, and then the zebra's bang.
Ooh.
And it's just a one leg. He doesn't even do it like a both leg. He just does one bang, and that warthog is down.
Maybe it's the same zebra, man. Just going around kicking everybody's butts.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe,
but head zebra.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I think the only way you'd stand a chance against a donkey, I think a prolonged battle with a donkey, I think you're going to get on the worst side. But the only way you're going to get off, say you were face to face with a donkey, like when like at a boxing match when they touch gloves or an MMA match, I think if I just right hooked the donkey right on the sweet spot as hard as I could on the jaw, I reckon there's a chance you could knock the donkey out. Because there's tales of people knocking out camels, for example. You heard that?
I hadn't heard that, no.
I've got a friend who's a British Pakistani, a good friend of mine, and he told me that there's tales of his relatives back in Pakistan. Obviously, I do not condone, none of us condone this behavior, but this was a different time, this was long ago, and this is in a different part of the world, and sometimes the men there, to show their virility, would try and punch out a camel. And if you could knock out the camel, you were considered a man. And my friend was telling me, my good friend Archie was telling me that his granddad is famous for knocking out a camel.
Oh, my God, man.
And it sounds like I'm making that story up, but I'm not making that story up.
You see the guy who right-hooked the kangaroo?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
That's a good one.
The kangaroos
had his dog.
Yeah, and
it had his dog in a headlock.
And they got really...
They're muscling,
Well,
man.
they got really sharp claws on their feet. And what they do is they grab hold of animals, and then they rip open their belly open, and it can, they rip their innards out.
Word.
And this guy, this Aussie, was worried that his beloved little canine friend was going to get ripped to pieces by this giant kangaroo. So he ran over, squared up to it. The kangaroo paid enough attention and respect to the man's threat. They let the dog go. They squared up.
I don't think he let go before he punched him in the face.
I think they did.
I think it was after.
Can you get that up?
Oh no,
Stretch
yeah,
McCoy.
it is.
No, I think he let it go. I think he squared up to the man, all cocky, thinking, "I'm going to show you." And then the guy just boom, right or left hooked the kangaroo. He didn't knock out the kangaroo, but you could tell the kangaroo was stunned.
Yeah, it goes like this.
Yeah, it's sort of like stunned for a second, and then just enough time, the guy sort of is like, yeah. And then he sort of backs off, and it's enough of a deterrent that the kangaroo does not attack him or his dog anymore. Watch this, everybody.
Here we go. Right, we got Conor McGregor in the blue hat.
So
just kangaroo on the left.
For anybody that's listening on the radio or Spotify, just a quick reminder: you can go on YouTube and watch this episode on YouTube. So if you want to be watching this video and watching anything else that we pull up, just go on YouTube. Type in Pandora's Box Podcast, give us a follow, and then you can watch all these clips that we're sharing with you.
Here we go.
But yeah, right now.
Oh my!
So what we just saw was a guy.
Look, he's got his dog. Look, he's got his dog there.
Kenny.
There's a kangaroo.
Runs over, lets the dog go. Doesn't let him go at first.
The kangaroo squares up to the guy,
ding,
then
ding.
the guy punches the kangaroo.
What's going on?
And then the kangaroo is slightly stunned. And then
look, he keeps holding first. He keeps holding first. And
the dog's trying to get away.
And then all these,
got some graphics going on. Here we go.
Here we go.
The kangaroo squares up. You think it's
right in the snarls.
And then the kangaroo is like, oh my God, I did not expect that.
Not a happy
You can tell it took him by surprise, can't you? He's like, what? What just happened, man? What just happened?
That's one of my favorite videos ever, I think.
So yeah, I think we've gone off this for a long time now, but I think that basically it's really hard to say. I mean, I think it depends. There's so many variables.
There's so many depends.
And let's face it, I've never fought any of these animals to the death. It'd probably be pretty surprising if I had. So I think it's a bit, the way I think about it, it's a bit like training, right? When I do something, when I'm working out in the gymnasium, etc., that I've never done before, at first it feels awkward. I can't really gauge exactly how I'm going to take to the new exercise. When I do it for a while, I adapt, and then I have a very good idea of what I can do. It's very hard to say what you could do with something. It's like saying if you've never been skiing before, do you think you're a good skier?
I could be.
I could be. I could not be.
I don't think I could ski very well.
No?
No,
Not
I
if
can't.
it runs in the family, man.
I can't ice skate, man.
No?
I can't ice skate.
Man, it's very different because I'm not a very good ice skater, but I'm a very good skier. So it's very different. I'll tell you what, actually, it's another funny story. Do you know how awful your brother, Zueswar the Gold, is at skiing?
No.
He's a little bit like earlier on we were saying about the old swimming. So, literally, I gotta say, your brother, I think, could have legitimately been a champion runner. Do you know how fast your brother is?
No.
Zueswar the Gold, who is also, for anybody that listens to the Aspen Waite Radio regularly and maybe listens to the Dark Dell, he's a sometimes co-host of the Dark Dell. Zueswar the Gold has probably the best natural running ability of anybody I've ever met.
Son of Mo Farah.
No, I would say more like a Usain Bolt. You know?
Son of Usain.
He's like Bridgewater's answer to Usain Bolt. He's almost got the same sort of physique as well. You know what I mean? He's all arms and legs. All arms and legs, you know? But it's like, he is fast, man. He is fast. I think that he could have literally, like, represented at least the county, if not maybe even Great Britain. That's how much faith I have in his running ability. But I do not have the same ability in either his swimming ability, the same faith, in either his swimming ability or his skiing ability. When we were 15 years old, we went on a school trip to in New England, and we went skiing in America, and we were out in these big snowy mountains, and we went skiing, and oh my word, it was like watching a fish try to walk. It was like he did not take to it well. It was like, I remember I was like bombing it down these mountains. You know, I got used to it pretty quickly after the first day. I sort of got my bearings, and I was really loving it. So I would be tanking it down these mountains, probably going 30, 40 miles an hour when I'm looking back at it. At the time, I wasn't really thinking about how fast I was going, but I reckon I was probably reaching maxing 40 miles an hour at some stages. And I get to the bottom, and we obviously set off at the same time. And then I'd be waiting there at the bottom of the mountain. I'd be like, dang, son, where's Zueswar the Gold? And I'd be looking up this mountain, and then I'd see this tiny little dot in right in the distance. And then it was like watching paint dry, honestly. He was like, he would come towards me so slowly and so awkwardly, and then just eventually came down about 5 miles an hour. And it was just so funny, man. It was such a good memory. But we had such a good trip, and it was just so funny. It's you never know how you're gonna take to things until you do them for the first time, do you? And Zueswar's been blessed with many great abilities. He is he is the best at several things. You know, like, out of everybody I've ever known, Zueswar the Gold is probably the most impressive in certain facets of his life. You know,
one of the most creative people I know, man.
Exactly. But balance, will find a way. And for what he has in artistic and musical and running ability, he severely lacks in skiing and swimming ability. But where was I even going with this?
Yeah, so you never know until you fight a beast, how it's gonna go.
Right. That's exactly.
What a segue.
You gotta do it. The first day. I thought this was supposed to be one of the 1 minute clips, you know?
Yeah. No, that's not one of the 1 minute clips. That's not one of the 1 minute clips. Nah, that's not one of the 1 minute clips. I think.
What animal could you fight?
I feel like that was gonna go somewhere, but I can't remember where it was going. I feel like I started that whole story for a purpose, and now I feel like.
Now it's just a funny story.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I started that.
Things can just, they go with the flow, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
all good.
I definitely started that thinking, right, and now I'm gonna end up with this point. It's gonna lead into this, but now
Point's
it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. I can't remember. But I got some cool news for y'all.
Oh my!
Did you know that scientists in the United Kingdom have just declared cephalopods, well, specifically I should say octopus, as sentient beings? And what they mean by that is after experiments over the years, different analyses, etc., scientists have found out that the octopus, the majestic octopus, has the full array of emotions, the same array of emotions that human beings do.
You see this too? Lobsters and crabs as well?
Really?
Apparently all three of them, lobsters, octopus, and crabs,
they've been
recognized as sentient beings.
So apparently, to classify as that, a creature has to be able to feel pain, pleasure, hunger, thirst, warmth, joy, comfort, and excitement. And octopus experience all of those emotions. So all the same arrays as us. They have friendships, they feel fear, they get excited about things, they feel joy, comfort, all of the same array of emotions that anybody listening to this would have, an octopus has as well.
That's so cool.
I don't think they've done enough experiments yet to realize if that branches out to all cephalopods. So cephalopods is basically all types, squids as well as octopus. So I mean, I don't know if they know that, say, like a giant squid or a Humboldt squid. I'm not sure if they know yet if they can feel the same array of emotions as, say, an octopus. But either way, that's amazing. I think it's common knowledge nowadays that octopus are amazing creatures.
Isn't their brain just as a part of their body?
Oh, their brain is running all the way through.
Yeah, all through. So all the
they've got neurons
down all there.
They've got neurons running all the way through their body. Their tentacles,
it's like they're a moving brain.
Every inch of their body. Yeah, I mean, there's more than one ways to skin a cat with nature, isn't there? I mean, you see that with things like invertebrates versus vertebrates. So with vertebrates like ourselves, like cats, like bears, all these other things. So the idea with an invertebrate is that we have basically a hard skeleton and then our fleshy bits around us. What you see with invertebrates like insects, arachnids, etc., is they have squishy innards and then a hard exoskeleton. They're both good. They're just more than one's way to skin a cat. They're just like you're saying about the octopod. We have brains centralized in our skull, and that's essentially our control center. More than one way to skin a cat. An octopus doesn't have a brain like we do, but they have neurons running all the way through their body. They have exactly the same array of emotions as we do, and they are clearly very intelligent, deep thinkers.
Very
fascinating
man.
Stuff.
I like octopus.
Fascinating.
Man. I like octopus.
They're fascinating creatures, aren't they? Absolutely fascinating creatures. Let you know my name. You are listening to Pandora's Box. Thanks for being with us, y'all, this evening. I'm your host, as usual, Mr. Cletus Jackson. To the right of me, we have Deputy Raymond Jr. Thanks for taking time away from your policeman duties this evening.
It's okay, man. Always to be on the pod. Big fan of the pod.
And to the left of me, we have Stretch McCoy.
Stretch McCoy. I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm a presenter with the name Stretch McCoy.
Well, you are, son. What do you think you're doing right now?
Oh, my word.
Stretch
Maybe
McCoy.
I was born for it. Stretch McCoy.
The youngest son of my second cousin, Annabelle. So, Thanks for being with us, y'all, this evening. I want to talk a little bit about the Tree of Tule.
The Tree of Tule.
Tree of Tule.
Does anybody know about the Tree of Tule? That's Tule spelled Tule. I'm not sure, actually, if that's how you spell it. That's how my
You mean
sloppy...
pronounce it?
Pronounce it. What did I say?
You said spell it.
Spell it. I know how to spell it. I just spell it. God dang it. But the Tree of Tule is in Oaxaca, Mexico, and is the tree with the largest trunk diameter in the entire world.
Entire world.
Guess how many meters the circumference of the tree is?
I'm going to say 25.
What about you, Deputy?
I say 52.
60 meters.
Damn.
Can you goddamn believe that? There's a tree in the world, a living tree with a circumference of 60 goddamn
I was 8 meters off, man.
meters. For our imperial friends out there, would you just type in 60 meters in feet, please, and just want to find out how much that is in feet, too? To be honest, I do actually prefer using feet.
Okay.
As rather than meters, but I mean it's apples and oranges.
Over
196 feet.
Mm.
Nearly 200
the
feet
diameter of that tree is 100. What did you say? 196. 196 feet around. That is one chunky tree. Have you got a picture of it up?
I got the picture
yeah,
up.
here we go. Whoa, man, that looks about like 10 trees.
So for anybody watching on the YouTubes, you can see the tree in all its glory.
That is one beautiful tree.
But for those of you that aren't seeing it, it's a beautiful sight. It is just absolutely insane.
I wonder if it's hollow in the middle, man.
Oh, wow. Why would
you know
it be?
how like big oak trees get hollow in the middle sometimes?
Right, yeah.
It looks like you could live in that.
I agree.
You could build, you could like carve out a house for in there.
I feel like you could have maybe like we were talking about a tree house off the pond.
Oh man, you could get a goddamn tree village up there.
That tree reminds me of Avatar.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could get a goddamn village up
It's
in
got
that
a lot
tree.
of leaves too. Look at this. Oh my.
Guess how old the tree is, gentlemen. Guess how old it is.
A billion.
I'd say 1,000 years.
2,000 years.
2,000 years old.
Whoa, man.
Well guessed, Stretch. Well guessed,
What
Stretch.
can I say?
So,
that's good.
We've all learned something today. The tree with the largest diameter in the world, the largest trunk diameter, is the Tree of Tule in Oaxaca, Mexico. 2,000 years old.
What breed is that tree?
Oh, sorry. It's also, so before I answer your question, it's also 42 meters tall.
That's
so it's
quite
also
high.
very tall. So how many footage is that, please, Stretch McCoy?
About 100.
It's a tall tree.
Take a guess.
I'd say 100.
Over 100.
137 feet.
Damn.
137 feet tall, 196 feet diameter. That is one chunky boy. I'm not sure what type of tree it is. Could you look it up for me, please? Type in the Tree of Tule, genus, maybe. Species. We'll try and find out for y'all.
Taxidium mucronatum.
Right, thank you very much for that information.
That's not like a cedar or something.
It's not.
Montezuma
It's not a chestnut.
cypress.
A Montezuma cypress tree.
Oh, well, we've all heard of cypress trees, so it's a type of cypress tree. Right. I got another interesting fact for y'all. I'm going to tell you about an amazing bear that learned to live and function alongside its man. I was going to say it's fellow man, but it's not a man, so it's not fellow man, but alongside
fellow mammal.
Mankind. So have you got a picture of this bear, please?
Of course, man.
Mr. Stretch McCoy.
Oh, this is like a big grizzly.
So I'm going to tell you a story about this amazing bear. You can see pictures of it in the trenches with male soldiers, right? So I'm going to tell you the story about this amazing bear. In the spring of 1942, during the Second World War, not First World War. In the spring of 1942, a unit of the Polish Second Corps encountered a boy in an Iranian town called Hamadan. This young boy had found an orphaned bear cub and had decided to keep it. Once the Polish soldiers then adopted this bear themselves, and the soldiers named him, I do not know how the Poles would pronounce it. It's spelled Wojtek, something like that, probably like Wotjek, probably something like that. And apparently in Polish that means joyous soldier.
Oh, cutie pie.
The bear then grew up into adulthood alongside its fellow soldiers, and the Polish army made him an official member of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company.
Man, that's crazy.
Wotjek soon became a loyal and beloved comrade to the fellow Polish soldiers, and when the soldiers needed to board a trip to Naples the following year, they found a sneaky way to bring him along. They made Wotjek a private of the Polish Second Corps, so it even had a rank.
Man, that's so cool.
Man.
They gave him a rank, a service number, and a paybook to legitimize his status within the Polish army.
I like him.
Old Wotjek went on to carry crates of ammo, and he even earned a promotion as a unit that fought in Italy during the Second World War. So that bear would literally fight alongside his comrades.
That's so cool, man.
That's actually pretty amazing. I mean, I've got this like image in my head. I'm sure it never actually happened like this, but I've got this image in my head of, say, like the Polish forces being in Naples, fighting the Italians during the Second World War. And then, there's a gun battle going on, and then there's just this Italian over there like, Mamma Mia. Bang, 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 Mamma Mia. And
Mamma Mia.
And then all of a sudden they hear out in the distance, they hear, and then the next thing you know, you're getting charged by this great big goddamn brown bear.
I think I would feel a million times more likely to win if I looked to my left and
there was a brown bear.
If there was a bear just stood there, eating Cheetos or something,
with a helmet on,
and a gun in hand.
Yeah, just carrying crates of ammo on its back. I mean, that's just an amazing story, isn't it? So
man, that's cool.
God bless Wotjek the Bear, and God bless as well the Polish army just for even doing such a cool thing, and for allowing that bear to have the glory that it had.
Friend of the pod.
Wotjek
the Bear.
Wotjek the Bear.
You are a friend of the pod.
You're a friend of the pod. You are a friend of the pod. Did you want to say something, Stretch McCoy? You sounded like you exclaimed something in a way that you wanted to say something. I was just
looking at the photos, man. I couldn't believe this bear. I can't believe
There are some great black and white photos of Wotjek the Bear alongside its Polish comrades back during the Second World War.
I'd like a pet bear. That was a thing I used to say in school. I used to say, one day I'll make an army of all the polar bears in the world.
Oh,
and
really?
I'll take over the world with me and my bears. That was my plan.
Young Stretch McCoy and his
like
army of polar bears.
That's my origin story, ladies and gents.
Never mind Tiger King, we got the Bear King.
Yeah,
we got the polar bear king.
The bear boy.
The polar bear. Did you hear that there's a new species of bear evolving in places like Alaska and that because of the way that the climate is changing?
So it's like a
Grolar bear.
Polar bear?
They're calling them Grolar Bears, right?
Bear.
And it's because it's becoming more frequent for grizzly bears and brown bears to habitat the same areas as polar bears. And
they mating?
They're mating.
Oh man!
And they've made a crazy new super species of bear that they're calling Grolar Bears.
Grolar Bears.
I mean,
are they gray?
Polar bears? No, they're sort of like blonde. If you can imagine, like
get a picture of that,
like the white of the polar bear is mixing with the brown of the brown bear to make almost like a blondie bear. It's quite.
I see the one.
Yeah, so
they're quite.
Have you typed in Grolar Bear?
Yeah, we got Grolar Bears up. We got Grolar
Bears. Look at that, man.
They got a cool bear.
Got kind of like brown arms and feet.
Yeah,
looks
man.
More like
brown.
A panda. You know what I mean, Drew?
Well, I see what you mean, man.
The thing is the
they look nice, man.
For people that aren't aware, polar bears are the largest species of bear on the planet. But there are certain things about a brown bear which do make it a little bit more formidable. For example,
claws.
They got their bite force is a little bit stronger. They're a little bit stronger in general, I do believe. So usually, if there's a battle over, say, some carrion, say there's a whale washed up on the shore, and polar bears and grizzly bears have congregated to that area to feed. If they get in competition, usually the polar bears, you might be surprised to know, will usually actually back down.
Okay.
To the brown bears.
Not happy about
Even
that.
though they're slightly smaller, the brown bears, they usually
a
back
bit more aggressive.
Maybe a bit more aggressive. Maybe in certain ways a bit stronger. But these new Grolar Bears, they're almost at the best of both worlds. They're a little bit. They're as big as polar bears, and they got the winning attributes of the brown bear.
Nice.
So
man.
it's a super bear.
Super bear.
But I like, shout out to the Grolar Bears and shout out to all those mama polar bears and those daddy brown bears and
Friends of the pod.
Yeah, friends of the pod.
Do you guys know what the least visited country in the world is?
I would probably guess somewhere like Somalia.
No.
One of the poles, like the North Pole.
No. The name of the country is Tuvalu.
Tuvalu.
And I've got some photos up now. I watched a video recently.
Oh my God! It's
yes
very
theory,
small. It's
and
very
their
small.
whole concept is they just sort of say yes to everything. So they went to this place. This place is crazy. Because you can see, it used to be a whole huge island.
Oh, my Lord.
And basically, all of it is now, like, submerged in water apart from the crust. So everyone just lives in the crust. Look how small it is.
That's small.
That's the size of their airport, their runway. And
Well,
that
it is
pretty
just
much takes
basically
up.
a landing
So they do
strip.
have an airport then. They have an airport.
just a landing strip and then a few houses.
For a second, I thought you were like describing like nomadic people, but you're talking about full-on.
They got houses.
They got houses and airplanes.
This is the interesting
Jesus.
thing. The guy goes over there and he's speaking to all these people, and they've got like tourism plans, everything like that.
Right.
And he's speaking to some of the people, and they're like, "Yeah, we went to university, college in America.
Right.
I got like a law degree," and then he was like, "But I just love it back home." So he comes back home, not doing anything crazy, just living off the island.
Right.
What a life, man!
What a life to live.
What a life.
Fair play, man. Fair play.
That looks like a beautiful place. I want to go there one day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that place because I didn't know anything about it.
It's got like one road going across the whole thing.
Wow,
Almost like a crust.
Got
Really
some
cool.
trees, man.
Really
It's nice.
cool.
that is very cool, man. I don't think I've even ever heard of that country. So yeah, it'll be a fascinating place to visit. And the good upside of it being so small is that you could visit everywhere there is to visit very quickly in a short amount of time.
Like this when I went to this.
Yeah. Have you, either of you, fellas, gentlemen, ever heard of the Epic of Gilgamesh?
I've heard of that, yes.
Have you ever heard of the Epic of Gilgamesh?
Epic of Gilgamesh.
I have not. Tell me all about it.
The Epic of Gilgamesh is regarded as the earliest surviving notable literature in the world.
Oh, I have seen this.
It's over 4,000 years old, and it's taken from just a stone tablet. A degraded stone tablet, but it contains several poems that are stories. It's an old like tablet.
It's not a Sumerian tablet, is it?
It's left over from ancient Mesopotamia, but I believe that this is just off the top of my head, so I may be wrong. I believe that the writing might be Sumerian.
Akkadian.
No, you're talking about Akkadian.
Akkadian,
but I
that's
feel
the one.
I want to say that it was originally Sumerian and that it was.
I've heard about some Sumerian tablets that are
I think it
super
might
old.
have been translated into Akkadian. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. You might be
I'm
right.
just guessing because it says here the Epic of Gilgamesh read in its original ancient language, Akkadian.
Maybe it is Akkadian then. Maybe it is Akkadian, but I think it was found from as leftover from ancient Mesopotamia, and it tells a story of the king of heroes, Gilgamesh, who goes on to have a battle with a god who I believe is called Enkidu, the god Enkidu.
Ooh, cool
And
name.
it's this whole epic story. But they're all these beautiful poems that are over 4,000 years old from Mesopotamia. But I just thought that was really fascinating. I mean, the oldest literature in the world. That's fascinating, isn't it?
That's so cool, man.
Just
Seen
to
a
even
photo of that.
And it's just a nice bit of trivia as well, So if anyone's like, hey, I wonder what the oldest piece of trivia in the world is, you can be like, well, I can tell you right now, it's the Epic of Gilgamesh.
That's right.
It's the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Nice, man. Yeah, I don't know because there's been Sumerian tablets, and they're obviously older than that because Sumeria was like 10,000 years ago.
Well,
but it's not literature; it's like hieroglyphs.
Well,
so.
this is what it says
Got those up now.
from what I saved on my phone. This is what it says.
Yeah, there you go. I seen that.
This is what I saved. It says the Epic of Gilgamesh is an epic poem from ancient Mesopotamia, regarded as the earliest surviving notable literature, and is the second oldest if you include religious texts. The earliest being pyramid texts. The literary history of Gilgamesh begins with 5 Sumerian poems about Gilgamesh, the king of Ur.
There you go.
Dating from the 3rd dynasty of Ur. And on that, we've come to the end of another session here this week in Pandora's Box. I want to thank y'all for joining all of us this evening in
Hillbilly
this
style.
redneck edition. Yours truly, Cletus Jackson. To the right of me, we've had Deputy Raymond Jr. Thanks, Deputy.
Thank you, man.
To the left of me, we've got Stretch McCoy.
Stretch McCoy.
The baby boy of my second cousin, Annabelle. Have a great week, everyone.